Hey mamas, so what's up my fit fam? Tiffany Chanell here. I just want to have a little chat. You know, I'm on my little walk, and every time I'm on my walk, well, not every time, but sometimes I want to chat with you. I was having a conversation last night with one of my best friends, and we were talking about the difference between an emergency fund and a miscellaneous expense. So I figured I should probably share a little insight and wisdom with my mamas out here. So let's talk about it, because if you don't understand the difference between an emergency fund and a miscellaneous expense, you might end up using, excuse me guys, apparently I'm allergic to trees and grass, but yet here we are. We're outside amongst allergies. But as I was saying, if you don't understand the difference between emergency fund and a miscellaneous expense, you might end up blurring those lines and using money that you should not be using out of an account that you should not be pulling money out of for an expense that you should not be using that account for. So I want to chat a little bit about the difference between an emergency fund and a miscellaneous expense. I do have a video where I go into more detail on this, and once I get this video posted and I'm at my computer and whatever, I will put a link to that video either somewhere up here or in the description box, or maybe in my pinned comment or something or another. But anyway, so let's talk about it. This is obviously not going to be a 60-second or less video because I don't have the energy to cut this down. So we're just going to go with the flow. And I'm going to try not to get hit by these soccer balls out here because it's kids out here playing soccer. So I'm at the park. So let me just pose this question. Granted, you can't answer this question for me while I'm making the video, but you can comment down below. Let's say you're at home and your AC goes out. Would you pull money out of your emergency fund for that particular expense? Or let's say you need to get some new tires on your vehicle. Would you pull money out of your emergency account for that expense? Or would you pull money out of your miscellaneous expense account for those expenses? And so I want you to think about that. And for those of you that said, oh, those are emergencies, I can understand why you would say that. You need AC, especially in the summertime. I know in Texas it gets really hot in the hundreds. You need your car to take you to where you need to go, like your job or take your kid to school or whatever. So I can understand you thinking that that's an emergency and you're to pull money out of your emergency fund. Now, I like to think of an emergency fund as I no longer can bring in income. To me, that's an emergency, because if I can't bring in income, how am I gonna pay these bills? So when I think of a miscellaneous expense account, I think of miscellaneous expenses, such as your AC needing to be repaired, your tires needing to be replaced. But when I think of an emergency, I think of a situation where I'm not able to bring in income. Maybe there was an illness and the primary breadwinner can't bring in income. And for those of us single mamas out there, we are the primary, the secondary, the only Aerie breadwinner. And so therefore, if we're not bringing in income, that's an emergency because we therefore cannot pay our bills. Thus, that would be an opportunity for us to use the money that we have in our emergency fund to cover the most important bills, the bills you can't do without, such as gas, water, electricity, rent. That is when we would need to use that emergency fund, when we can no longer bring in income. Okay? So if you are, and I'm guilty, I've done it before, if you are tapping into your emergency account, but you're still bringing in income like you normally would each month, you're not doing it right. You need to have a miscellaneous expense account. Some people would call this a sinking fund or whatever, extra money, whatever you want to call it, it's fine. But you need to have a separate account that covers those expenses, those miscellaneous expenses that happen that you're not really expecting. You know, like you expect to pay your mortgage or your rent. You expect to buy groceries, but you don't always expect to have to replace your AC unit, stuff like that. So I want to challenge you, mamas, especially you single mamas, have a miscellaneous expense account where you are putting money in there for those miscellaneous expenses. And when it comes to your emergency account, try to put back, people say, well, Dave Ramsey says, start with $1,000. That's a good start, but it's not going to get you, it's not going to get you far. I feel like his program, nothing, but I do believe his program is geared more towards a dual income household. But for those of us that are on a single income household, I would suggest you have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses. But remember, if you have 3 months of expenses, that means you can only be out of work for 3 months. For me personally, I prefer to have 6 to 12 months of expenses. Because when you are taking care of your kid, doing all the things for your children, taking care of your household, and something should happen to you, you want to make sure where you're not able to bring in income, you want to make sure that you can, with a peace of mind, know that you can cover your bills at least for 6 months. That's it, guys. I do hope that this video inspires all my mamas out there, especially my single mamas and even single dads. I try to cater to the single parents, especially the single moms, because I'm a single mom. But if you are a parent, period, you should be listening to this content because it's going to help you whether you're a male or a female. But hopefully this video encourages you, inspires you, provides you with information to make better, more informed decisions so that you can always stay fit in your finances. And guys, until I see you in my next video, enjoy the beautiful day and make your money. Take care of your bills. Do not tap into your emergency account for a miscellaneous expense. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Until next time, bye for now.